action. Welcome to episode 3 of the Minisodes of the Founder Diaries. And today's episode is going to be a little bit, I might snatch your edges. And this is something that's honestly, I also struggle with as well, but I think is really important to talk about, especially if you're someone from the outside looking in and you assume, oh, I'm just a hardworking person. Yeah, so your overworking could be a coping mechanism. Remember how we said that this is a space to feel validated, comforted, but sometimes get your edges pulled? So today we're pulling those edges, including mine, because I am also still a work in progress. So the fact that we live in a society that over glorifies working a lot and generally capitalism, it fuels this behavior a lot. And so we see a lot of people who take a lot of pride and identity in being busy and doing a lot of work, in working 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. And you see so many TikToks of my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5 and then my 1 to G4 and they sleep like 3 hours, and it's made to seem like a really cool thing, but it's actually not so much or sustainable. And so here's a little bit of the science. Working a lot actually triggers dopamine because as you get things done, it feels good. You know that feeling when you check something off your to-do list, it feels really nice, and that triggers dopamine in your brain, and that's like the feel-good hormone basically. Secondly, work gives us a sense of structure, gives us a sense of routine, and it feels more predictable and kind of like you can control things. You are the one who sends the email. You're the one who types up what needs to go out. And so it's that little area in your life where you're kind of more in control as opposed to the rest of your life. Also, when you're busy, your brain tends to deprioritize your emotions. Like literally the part of your brain that's responsible for that tends to get minimized when you're busy, just because of it's how our bodies are made and survival basically. So you end up spending less time processing your emotions. So you find when you're busy, you won't feel sad, you won't feel like those things that were bothering you kind of just go to the back of your brain. Then also our sense of self-worth is tied to our output or our work. And actually a lot of us have tied our identity to our roles. So you feel good as a person when you're a good CEO, when you're a good founder, when you have done well at work. But really our identity is so separate and it's not the same thing. And actually we're going to have a business coach come on one of the episodes to talk about this a bit more. Next, if you've had long-term stress, especially as a child, or if you've been in areas where you had a lot of responsibility as a child or environments that just required you to always be on, your body might get used to that high alert state. And so when it's not in high alert, it feels like, okay, something is wrong. Like, why am I not in this? What your body becomes familiar or kind of gets used to it. And it's called actually hyperarousal. So chronic stress actually recalibrates your sympathetic nervous system, making you busy, making that feeling of being busy and productive feel normal. Rest, silence, or slowness actually feels unsafe because it brings emotional material to the surface. Remember, you don't like interacting with that. So subconsciously, we choose work to avoid dropping into vulnerability. So how do you know if you check these boxes? 1, you spend copious amounts of time at work, even when it's not really necessary. Really and truly, that report could be submitted tomorrow, or that order can be taken care of by someone else. Next, you take on project after project after project, and you keep saying, after this one, I'll rest. After this one, I'll rest. But it just never comes. You can't stand being free. Every second of your day on the calendar has to be blocked out with some kind of productivity. You keep moving the goalpost. You'll take a break when, and the when just never comes. You feel like only you can do it well or do it right. So you have to be the one to do it. You're proud of yourself for being productive, but you don't remember the last time you did nothing, and you don't take time to celebrate that either. You only function well under pressure or deadlines. Calm periods actually make you restless, and you probably like to say the term, I work well under pressure. This means your nervous system is addicted to cortisol spikes. So, what is the solution? Getting used to the sensation of not doing. This is productive too. For people who go to the gym or people who work out, you know that you actually build muscle when you recover, when you rest. You can't go to the gym 24 hours a day for 7 days a week. The going is equally as important as not going. So we need to build this time into our calendars, into our lives, and to systemize the downtime, and especially as a founder. So one of the things that you can actually do is go to Korea for a walk, leave your phone in the car. Maybe do a color walk. And a color walk is where maybe you identify different colors as you walk. And now you can maybe journal it or take note of it. Or if you have a camera, you can do that. But just give yourself time to literally unplug. And something I'm trying to do systematically is schedule a week or break every quarter, and then maybe a day off every other week, because being on all the time is actually not great for our brain, and it also affects the quality of the work that you're putting out if you're constantly going, 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 and going. So I hope that wasn't too hard on you and that you needed to hear that. And you're not alone in that feeling. You just need to untangle our sense of identity from that feeling of I always have to be busy to it's okay to not be busy, but also I am not my work and I am not my business and I am someone entirely different out of all of that, and really flesh that out. And that was episode 3 of the Minisodes of Founder Diaries. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Make sure to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening or watching to this on. And as usual, please drop your comments or your thoughts in the comment section. I know you have a friend who needs to listen to this episode. Share it with them. Bye. Catch you on the next one. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Beauty Square KE. Beauty Square was my first full-blown business and the brand that pulled me into entrepreneurship and shaped so much of what I share here. In many ways, this podcast is an ode to that journey, the lessons, the growth, and the courage to start before everything was figured out. At Beauty Square, we're passionate about helping everyone become a skin expert, offering authentic products from TikTok favorites to proven solutions for acne, dark spots, and more, with a team ready to guide you through all the right choices. Visit us at our CBD or Lavington branches for expert treatments like facials, waxing, body scrubs, and massages from our sister brand Sage. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at beautysquare.ke and at Sage Skin, spelled SAGESKNN. And thank you for tuning in.